What's up, everybody? Welcome to your Tuesday night NWSL Live. So good to be here. Thanks for your patience. We're underway now, and it's not just me, Jordan Angeli, your host. I am going to be joined by both Jeff Kassouf and Lindsey. And this has been an interesting week, right? Because there were no games over the weekend, you guys. So we're going to find something to talk about. First of all, Lori, you're in Austin. You're getting ready to call this U.S. Women's National Team game tomorrow night. Can you give us a little insight into what this new stadium looks like?
Yeah, the new stadium's awesome. It really is. This will be the debut for any team, so it should be awesome. And women versus Nigeria, getting to open the stadium. Lots of green seats, I should say, and it's England heat here in Austin. If anybody catches that joke from what happened during the Euros and how everybody was like 78 degrees is blazing hot in England. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful stadium. It'll be exciting and almost full capacity tomorrow.
Awesome. Yes, there's been a lot of international games, but a little bit of a break for NWSL action. We're going to be back at it this weekend, so we will get you prepped and ready for those games later on in the show. But Jeff and Lori, we thought, okay, what is a good way for us to fill this void of no games over the weekend? Well, we thought, let's recap kind of what has happened and some players that have stood out to us already. And these are players that have caught our eye. And I think what is cool about this is we really get to hone in on just two players. Jeff picked a player, Lori picked a player, and we're going to talk about them and how they have helped their team so far and maybe how they can continue to help their team during this season. So, Jeff, I'm going to go to you first. You're going to take us to Orlando, where this was a team who had been looking for some stability in the back line, and you think they might have found it.
Yeah, found it in some youth as well. We've talked a little bit about Phoebe McLernon on this show in passing, I think. But, we were sitting down, like you said, talking about, maybe let's pick a breakout player. I don't know if we say the breakout player, but certainly I want to focus on McLernon because I think defensively, has been really solid. And I think that's drawn, quite a bit of attention. Obviously, a big turnaround for the defensive performance for the Pride so far this season. I think, early days here in the season is Orlando's the story of the league right now in terms of the turnaround, the success so far, and many pieces to that. And we've talked. I think last week it was about Cindy LaRue and Alex Morgan up top, but on that back line, a mix of veteran and quasi rookie. First real season for McLernon and Courtney Peterson there. So I think has been a really valuable addition. And I think Mark Skinner has talked about the fact that her going on loan last year, getting that experience when there weren't many games here, really anywhere, but in the U.S. specifically and for Orlando specifically, I think gave her that experience to come into this season not looking like a rookie and really has been defensively sound so far.
That's the one thing that's really interesting about all this is she's a rookie with a little bit of experience, right? She comes in and gets her professional NWSL debut here this year, even though she got drafted last year. Lori, this is a player, though, too, who is still a rookie. And I think both of the players that we're going to talk about have a lot of growth, which is an exciting thing. What is it that you feel like McLernon can continue to work on to really hone in her game as she continues to grow over this 2021 season?
Well, I think anytime you're just getting experience in this league and understanding the pace, the transitional play, and then also being able to play next to players like Allie Krieger, Allie Riley, and what they bring and all the experience that they have. And as Jeff mentioned, this is a team that has a lot of experience, and then you have rookies. And that has, in the past, been a hindrance to them in terms of the big gap between the experience and the rookies, but they're starting to mesh. And I think it's players like McLernon who are learning quickly or understanding their roles and also just continue to get those playing minutes to be able to showcase what she can do, because clearly she has all the tools to be able to be a really good center back in this league. It is just about continuing to understand. So again, and the last thing I'll say about Orlando is that they're a team that is going to keep a lot of their pieces together, which is valuable for them going into the Olympics. And McLernon will be an even more key piece in that back line.
Jeff, you were a center back, weren't you, in your day?
I was a bit of everything. Center back,
dabbled.
fullback. Yeah.
You dabbled. Okay, so when you're talking about McLaren, this is a player who's young, and Lori said the experience in the game, that game experience is not something that you can get anywhere else, right, than in the 90 minutes of a match. If you're looking at her skill set, you're thinking at the end of 2021, you hope that she's improved in what technical aspect of her game?
Yeah, I think so far, if I'm looking at it, it's ironic a little bit of that clip that we were playing of her playing that direct ball over the top to Alex Morgan, because I think that has been successful for Orlando so far. But I also think if you look at the most recent game for Orlando against Washington, I think in possession is where, I'd want to see a little bit more patience and maybe a little bit of variation. There's times where that Route 1, which I think is overused, so nix that from the record, but just that more direct play, that
beeline.
Yeah, I mean, just that option. I think getting past the idea that if direct to Morgan is not on, then what's the other option? Right. There has to be that option B and C, and I think that's probably the next step. That's not a criticism, that comes with time. I think, honestly, you just reminded me of some maybe horrifying memories from playing days of I think like the thing that takes time is probably you can react defensively and you can make big plays defensively. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that takes a little bit more time is being calm under pressure when you know that there's nobody behind you.
Yeah. Decision making, so important in the center back role in the modern game, and being able to play make out of the back, essentially. So it'll be cool to watch her, as Lori said, and that Orlando team continue to build throughout the summer as they stay intact. All right, Lori, we're going to you next. The player that you've thought has been a little bit of a breakout player this year is someone that at the beginning of the year, we talked a lot about a lot of teams, and we kept saying, I don't know about Racing Louisville. We just don't know. We just don't know what they're going to look like, how the pieces are going to fall together. But you knew that something good was going to happen when they've got their own drafted to their team in Amina Ekic. She's really stood out to you.
Yeah, she certainly has. And she's a true rookie. And essentially, a lot of these players on this team are true rookies as well. I mean, they're being asked and tasked with a lot coming into this season. A lot of these players haven't played 90 minutes. And Amina Ekic, a player that I was able to call in the ACC when she was at Louisville, and just a different skill set that you don't typically see. Really crafty on the ball, wants to take players on, the willingness to take players on, a slight player. So it's not like she's going to overpower somebody, but she has to wiggle her and we up. Her getting the starts, her playing on that right-hand side, starting to build some partnerships, and then more recently, her coming off the bench now and showing her impact. Scored a beautiful goal against the Washington Spirit when they got their first win. And so you're starting to see some of these pieces, and this is a player that's adapted quickly to this game. What I'd like to see, though, is now as Racing Louisville starts to bring in more players, we just heard about the signing of Nadia Nadim. We have Ebony Salmon, who's in the mix now, and these players that can be difference makers in the attack, that will help alleviate some of the pressure. And the three of us have also talked about Savannah McCaskill as well, and her making a statement in this league for this young Racing Louisville team. I think that those two players, Amina Ekic and Savannah McCaskill, will benefit greatly from those two players, Salmon and Nadim, coming in, alleviating some of that pressure, but also just the influence that they'll have in terms of creating some versatility up top and, more some deception in their attack. And, it's going to help with Amina Ekic be able to make a bit more of a statement, I think, whether she starts, whether she comes off the bench or both, right? So a great future for this one and a different player than we see, I think, in this rookie class.
Yeah, so many good points there, Lori. And one of the things that I hone in on is just this was a team who, as you mentioned, a lot of young players, rookies, having to step up and have starting roles. But now, Jeff, they bring in these other players. It also brings in competition to a lot of those roles, which has got to be good for Ekic. Where do you feel like her biggest area of growth can be in these next really as the season continues and progresses.
Yeah, I think consistency is probably one that you're always striving for, and is always something that you're probably looking for from a younger player. I mean, I think, to be fair, I think she has been, whether that's in a starting role or coming off the bench in a reserve role. I've been impressed. I mean, I think Lori said it well. The particularly, I think we look at goals, we look at assists a lot, but I think in the middle of the park, especially, she's been composed, and I think she's been kind of just free flowing in a way that, like Lori said, it's in this country, it's a bit more of a rare skill. I guess it's a rare skill anywhere, but especially I think we kind of hone in on those players in the U.S. where sometimes it's a bit more physical, straightforward, for lack of better terms, where there is that kind of creative play that is a little bit more rare to find.
Yeah. And you mentioned that free flowingness, and someone in the chat as well was mentioning she's kind of like Lavelle in that sense, that they feel the game, they can slalom through different spaces. So I think both of those are really interesting players, and it doesn't surprise me that they're young players, right? These are players that we hadn't seen a lot of, and now we're getting a little taste of them, and we just want to see more. I know Louisville and Orlando want to see more of them continuing to progress and to be successful throughout the rest of this 2021 season. So we are going to take a quick break. And then on the backside of this, Jeff and I sat down with Mal Pugh and I talked to her about her career, her time in Chicago, and just what she's looking forward to in the rest of. We made her look down the line a little bit, didn't we, Jeff? So
Yeah.
we're going to have that conversation right after this break with Mal Pugh, so stick around. I'm watching the chat still because we're going to break here in a second, but you guys, I can see the chat, which is so exciting. So hi to everybody in the chat. Oh, it just kicked me out of the chat right when I said that. Dang it. Welcome back, everybody, to NWSL Live. One of the things that we love most about this show is we get to welcome in players from all the different teams. And today we're going to Chicago with the Red Stars. We are talking to my Colorado girl, Mal Pugh. Oh, look at that. A little celebration. How are you, Mal?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. I don't want to make you too jealous, but I am in Colorado right now.
I know. I haven't been back in forever, and it is quite sad. Like, I think the last time I was there is like November.
Oh, it hurts your heart, right?
Yeah,
Something about seeing the mountains just.
I've been saying to everyone recently, like, I need a good just couple days in the mountains. Just get away, like disconnect in the mountains, but I don't know when that's going to happen.
Right. It seems like it's going to be a little bit of a wild summer, but first off, how are things in Chicago? You trained earlier today and you're just hanging out, but you liking it so far?
Yeah, I love it. It's going really well. I think, although I feel like I've been here for a while now, ever since February, because our preseason started so early. It's been nice to kind of just be here, get integrated with the team, really build like relationships more and more. And also Chicago in the summer is great. And so now it's finally starting to get warmer and those Chicago summer days are starting. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, you had some time in DC too, and did you get much time in New York at all with everything that was happening, or not really?
Not really. I think we went to the city maybe like once or twice. And it was actually kind of nice because there was like no traffic and like, there was like no one out, so I enjoyed it. But things here are definitely starting to open up and it's everyone keeps saying like last year they didn't obviously get this experience, so I feel like everyone on the team's just excited for the summer here.
Yeah. Chicago winning over your heart so far as a city?
It really is. I think Denver still wins, but Chicago's up there.
It's home, right? So it's always going to win.
Yeah.
But it's nice that honestly we get the profession that we get to explore all these different cities and we get to really see what this country has to offer. You mentioned that it's been good, right, to be in Chicago and to be there for what was an extended preseason and then into the Challenge Cup. But what do you feel like allowed you to get in there and for things to click so quickly? Because it has seemed like it's been fairly easy for you to adapt into this squad.
Yeah, I think honestly, it was just I know a lot of girls. I knew them previously and just from different teams. And I think just the group of girls is honestly, they're just great and very welcoming. And I never felt like really an outsider. I feel like from day one, people welcomed me with open arms. And I think that really made me feel welcomed and comfortable. So then I was able to just kind of mesh in with the group.
2020 kind of being what it was, you've had some time to train individually, and I guess everybody did, but is there anything that you feel like changed? Or, I know I remember talking to you over a year ago and you were talking about kind of hitting that reset to go to Sky Blue. I don't know if that was similar in terms of coming to Chicago. Did something, additional come up for you maybe in the move to Chicago that you said, all right, this is, what I'm working on, or this is where I'm at?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if there was anything specific on the field that I can really remember, but I think for me, it was kind of just having a reset and finding me again and the way like I play and just having that freedom to do so. And I think the most important part was just enjoying it. And I think last year too was good in a sense for me because I was able to like nurse some injuries that I had and just that were very annoying, and I was kind of just playing through the pain. So it was good just to kind of like take a step back and really like have a total reset. So
I found that interesting because I was I saw an interview you did with CBS, and you were talking about just the advice you have to younger kids because what's happening now is there's a lot of players doing what you did, Mal, and not going to college or skipping some portion of that. And your advice was to keep the love of the game. Mm-hmm. So did you feel like you lost that for a little bit?
I don't think I ever really lost it. I think it deep down was in, like, it was truly there. But I think I wasn't necessarily, I mean, I feel like people go through this all the time in professional sports. Like, you're just kind of going through the motions, and you're not really, you kind of have to ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? And I think last year kind of helped me realize that. And I think coming to Chicago too, it's been nice because I've been able to really like find my game again, and enjoy it, like truly enjoy it. And I think my teammates here, and the coaching staff here has really helped me do so.
I just asked that because I found it really hard too. Just this idea of when you become a professional, how demanding it is. And it almost feels like it goes from a team sport to like really individual mindset at times. And I found it very challenging to balance those two. And I think that maybe is a little bit of what you're saying too, is you just get so honed into like this one track mind that you forget your why. What is your why? When you had that time to think about it a little bit more, why does Mal Pugh play soccer?
I think, well, I love the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, but I think too, I think friendships and relationships is like really big for me. And then also competitiveness. I'm a very competitive person, and I don't know, if I didn't have soccer, I don't know where that would come out. So it's probably good I can go play 5v5 during a week and get that competitive edge out.
I love it.
It must come out somewhere else though, right? Where else?
Last year, it did. I would play Mario Kart, and I would get so mad when I lost. It was actually kind of concerning.
Who's your player that you have on Mario Kart?
It was Toad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I have not played or had a Mario Kart since I have the original Super Nintendo somewhere in the basement. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
During quarantine, we played on the Wii. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I love it. Also, I like how we both say Mario Kart, and then the East Coast guy says Mario.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, this is like Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
You tried to change it there. It's okay, Jeff.
Mario.
We still love it. Love it.
This is like coffee too, right?
Yeah, a little bit. So getting back to Chicago a little bit, when you look at this year ahead, what are the goals that you have? Let's go from a club standpoint, and then maybe for you personally, what are you looking forward to for this year?
I think for me, for a club, it would obviously, we want to try and make playoffs. I feel like that would be silly not to say. And I think for me, just truly enjoying it and not really putting any pressure on myself, because I've always been one to put a lot of pressure on myself. And I know the moment I start, or the moment I am enjoying it and really just taking it in, then good things are going to happen. And so that's kind of what I've been trying to focus on, not necessarily like certain things, but just, I mean, it sounds so simple, but it can be kind of hard to do sometimes.
No, it's so hard. But that's the idea of being present, right? Have you worked on a lot of your mental game? Because there's no pressure in the present, right? Because you're so focused on what that moment is. When you think about, okay, if this happens and there's pressure, or you think about what did happen, you're adding stress to yourself. But staying present seems to be something that you're really trying to focus on.
For sure. Yeah, I have worked on like my mental game for the past like year and a half, which has helped me tremendously. I feel like I've, even off the field, like I feel like I've made like complete strides. And one thing I feel like I've noticed is that when I'm like complete and whole off the field, then I can bring that onto the field, because I feel like the way I play and the way I like to express myself on the field is such an expression of me.
Yeah.
Field. So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing the past year and a half.
Love
Still
it.
working
Love
on it too.
What does that look like for you off the field? If, give some people insight into kind of just how you kind of decompress. I mean, we mentioned Mario Kart, but I'm sure there's other stuff that kind of keeps you grounded.
I think, like I said, like relationships is a big one for me. I think even though I can't physically be with loved ones, I think just talking to them every single day is big for me. I also think it's hard because right now I live in a city, but I grew up in Colorado, and Jordan, you can probably agree with me on this, is like just being in like nature and the mountains, even though there's no mountains in Illinois, but just being in nature and really just kind of connecting with that. Yeah, those are some things, but it's hard too because I'm tired. Sometimes I don't want to.
Right.
That's totally fair for being a professional athlete. I keep hearing about Colorado. I know I need to get out there. I've said to Jordan,
come on,
I still have not. I think I've got an old friend who's engaged and I think living there. So
yeah,
I'm going to keep an eye out for that invite, maybe.
Yeah.
You talked about being in the present. I mean, as far as national team goes, is that something you compartmentalize as you put that away? Is that something that you actively or, obviously you don't stop thinking about it, I guess, but
Right.
is it, on the daily, is that something, or how do you kind of view that now?
Yeah, I think, obviously being with the national team and being on the national team is always a goal, and is always a dream of mine. I think for me, it's, like I said, really when I can like start really enjoying and playing well and being free on the field, I know that that's going to help my chances with getting with the national team. So just continuing just to really focus on that. It's definitely something that I feel like is always on my mind. And it's always a goal. And I feel like that it kind of feeds into that competitiveness. And it's always something that I will be working towards. So.
Yeah. And I think people forget, Mal, just you're young. You were so young.
Yeah.
I forget how young you are.
I forget.
You probably feel like you grew up quickly. And, you're great friends with Lindsey Horan. I knew Lindsey when she was going through that process too of deciding to go abroad, and just how much that does make you grow up. But when you're envisioning your career, you're 23. And when you're envisioning what's to come, right? 5 years, 10 years down the road, you're still playing soccer. You're still playing football. What does that look like for you when you think about, okay, my career in 10 years and in 5 years? What are some things that you want to continue to accomplish? Because you're very accomplished already. I should also add that. Like,
thank you.
It's amazing what you've done.
I mean, winning a World Cup, winning an Olympics, I feel like those are always things that you want. I think too is continuing to just grow this game. And I've always said ever since I was little that I've always wanted to be an inspiration to others, and however people perceive that, as long as it's an inspiration and a role model, then great. So yeah, I think, I don't know, 10 years, that's a long time. I don't know. What?
You'll be in your 30s. It'll be weird.
Oh, wow. 5 years though. I feel like I could look at 5 years a little bit better.
Okay.
5 years. That'll be 2026.
Yeah. I'm like, what year is it? Forgot.
Yeah, I feel like that's crazy to think about. I don't know, just enjoy playing, and
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. I think
Yeah.
enjoy playing and continuing just to be an inspiration to others. And like I said, growing this game. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yep.
Continuing to grow this game and grow the league, and just have people be inspired and want to play professional women's soccer.
Mm-hmm.
One moment at a time, right?
That's right. That is.
Well, I haven't actually heard too many players talk about. I thought it was cool, these trading cards, because I got a couple boxes, and one of them had you in a Red Stars jersey in it. So that's got to be cool to see. Like, I don't know if you've like gotten any yourself, but
I haven't.
no.
I feel like I saw. I don't know. I saw something the other day. I also don't have social media right now, so I don't really know what's happening in the world. So that's kind of new to me, the trading cards, but someone did send me something. So I'm going to go look. Maybe I'll ride my bike too. Target? Can I get a
Yeah, I guess they're hard to find. They're sold out online, and people. I only just learned about. I think they're called flippers. That people are buying them and selling them for 2 and 3 times as much. So,
oh wow,
it's a valuable product, I guess.
See, this is news. This is good news.
Yes, growing the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mal, one last question before we get to some fun things about your life off the field and just what you're liking about Chicago. Just NWSL in general, what you've seen of the league, and now with the announcement of San Diego last week and a lot of players coming to the US to play. I mean, the number of internationals that are now coming here just in these last few months is really exciting. What's your hopes for what's to come here with NWSL, and how have you seen just the competition on the field continue to rise over your years there?
I think it's awesome that so many players are coming over. I think it goes to show like how competitive this league is on any given day, that any team can truly win. It's crazy. You don't see that in any other sports leagues. So I think continuing to have that competitiveness within the league, I think obviously continuing just to have people be invested. I think that's the best way to grow the game and grow the league, is having people truly be fans, and you're starting to see it more and more. I think, I mean, like you said, the trading cards, like little things like that is just awesome. And yeah, I think the more we can kind of just continue to grow this game, the better it's going to be for younger generations. So
love it.
Yeah.
Gosh, an inspirational quote that right there from Mal Pugh. She's starting. I mean, who cares in 5 years? She's starting right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's so fun to watch this league grow and to see just the quality, and it's only going to get better as we get a couple more teams, and to watch some of those players, even if you think players on your team that don't start every week, could potentially be starting next year, which is exciting for just showcasing how much quality there is in NWSL. So Jeff, go ahead, Mal.
Yeah, I also think it's great too that we have gotten teams in California now, in Southern California. I feel like it's about time that it's happened, because that is just like such a market for soccer. So I'm like really excited to see how everything kind of plays out with the addition of those two teams.
Yeah, that should be good. All right, should we get to some quicker fun questions about things happening in Mal's life, both on and off the field?
Sure.
Jeff, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you start.
Well, we had Kalia Watt on, and she said that the like place to go for dinner was actually Morgan Gutraw's house, I believe is what she said.
She did, yeah.
I'm wondering what's your restaurant spot, or maybe place to go that's a teammate for dinner?
Restaurant spot. Oh gosh. I don't really have a restaurant spot, but I have a coffee shop.
Okay. Probably better.
Sawada.
Sawada.
Okay.
Yeah, I go there every single day.
Okay.
What do you order? Same thing?
Either a cold brew with like a little bit of almond milk or an almond milk iced latte. It is so good.
It's cold brew season.
It is cold brew season.
Jordan, a requisite question for anybody in Chicago is whether deep dish pizza is actually pizza.
Honestly, I had one slice of deep dish pizza and I wasn't a fan.
Okay. That's a good answer.
I just kind of feel like it's like a lasagna. Like it's so much stuff.
Yeah, right.
Which if you like lasagna, then maybe you like it, right?
I really haven't done a lot of Chicago foods.
Yeah.
Deep dish.
Yeah. How about rooftops? Best rooftop you've been to?
I haven't been.
Cool. Well, maybe one day you'll let us know. Because that's kind of a thing in Chicago, right? There's like all these cool rooftops.
It is. I've heard Hotel Lincoln is supposed to be really cool. So
okay.
Maybe
get back to us on that.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll go.
Well, the coffee is a given, but do you have a go-to pregame meal that like has to be?
I always just make oatmeal. Like that's just been a solid one. Just oatmeal and some fruit and call it a day.
Perfect.
Keep it simple.
Easy. Who's the hardest player, like defender, that you go against in NWSL? Who challenges you the most? Or maybe even on your team?
Well, I can do in the NWSL, I'd probably say Becky. Because it's Becky.
Right.
It's Becky. But I think on my team, oof, that's hard. I was like, Tierna's always, I feel like Tierna and Becky kind of play the same.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like Sarah Gordon, she's solid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
All of our defenders are actually very hard. Luckily, I don't really have to go against them in training.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nice. Well, have you gotten to a Cubs or a Sox game, or is that?
Yeah, so I went to one Cubs game, but that was in like the beginning of April. And it was really cold.
Yeah.
And the game was forever. So one thing with baseball that the games just last way too long. But it wasn't like max capacity. So I didn't really get the full experience, but the other day I saw a video of a Cubs game. One of my friends sent me it and it was crazy. I'm like, okay, I have to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, props to you for going to a Cubs game. Was it against the Braves or like, why are you going to the Cubs game? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, why are you going to a Cubs game in April?
No, that's the only reason. And I don't think the Braves play them again this year. So I need to choose my next favorite team and maybe so
there we go. I love that. You're picking one teammate to go shopping with you for a day. Who's that teammate that you're bringing with you?
Probably Kalia.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gone shopping before, so that's why I'm laughing.
Are you guys always shopping?
Not really, but or Danny. Yeah.
Or Danny.
Yeah, or Danny. We've the three of us have gone shopping.
Okay. I adapted that question. My first question was going to be if you could only shop at one store or one brand for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
Oh, that's hard.
I like to throw in some challenging ones every now and then, really make you think.
Well, right now with the attire that I have currently been wearing the past year and a half, I would probably say, honestly, I'd probably say Aritzia. I feel like they have a wide range of everything.
Yeah, love it.
Like that's
mega sale right now too. So you should check out the sale if you haven't already. Sorry, your credit card in advance.
Well, how about, I know you said you turned off social media for the moment, right? But is there anything that you're into on a movie, series, book front that you're kind of keeping occupied with?
No series right now. If you have recommendations, send them my way. But books, I'm reading Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey.
Oh,
Yeah, and
Nice.
it's really good. I have a goal this year that I need to read 12 books. So
it's a great goal.
I'm on number 5. I'm a little behind, but I'll
That's
play.
But
pretty
not
good.
that far
that's
behind.
good pace, yeah.
So
Good job.
thank you.
I love that. Any other good books that you've read that you're like, hey, you guys should read this one?
Where the Crawdads Sing.
I have that. I haven't started it yet though.
It is very good.
Okay.
And then The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
I just finished that. Whoa.
Crazy. It's
So good.
Really, like, you reevaluate your whole life after.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really good.
Yep.
I've got to get my hands on this.
Yeah, it's really good.
What inspired, is that just like you wanted to read more, or what came up with, how'd you come up with the 12 books for the year?
I kind of just was just like, you know what, I should maybe read a little bit more. And the number 12, and maybe that's a little ambitious, but here I am.
We believe in you, Mal. We believe in you.
I will finish it. Like I will.
Yeah.
Like I have to, or I'll be very upset with myself.
Okay. We'll get the update for everybody at the end of the year if Mal Pugh has finished her 12 books. If you have any, I was going to say hit her up on social media, but she's not on there. So I don't know. Tell her friends about books she should read.
Reach out to my friends and they can tell me.
Yeah, because you're talking to your friends, because that's what keeps you happy. Yeah. Mal, this has been so fun. And honestly, I think from all of us, Lori included, who kind of couldn't be in this interview, we're just so happy for you that things are going well and you are at where you're at. It just seems like you're in a really good place. So we're happy for that.
Thank you. I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on NWSL Live.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll be right back after this short break to wrap up the show and let you know what's on tap for the weekend. Welcome back, everybody, to NWSL Live. One of the things that we love most about this.
Start it again.
Sorry. How quick? So what was that, a few seconds?
That time I did hear us.
Welcome back, NWSL Live, here to just wrap up for the weekend. I'm Jordan Angeli. Thanks for joining us. That was a fun conversation with Mal Pugh. I felt like she gave us a little bit more insight into her life and what's going on with her. So I'm going to bring back in Jeff and Lori, and we're going to talk about the games that we have for the weekend. 5 games. So every team's playing, which is exciting. And 2 games are going to be on CBS one of those, our own Lori Lindsey, will be calling. So let's start with Saturday, June 19th, North Carolina versus OL Reign. That is the CBS game, 4 p.m. Eastern time for that one. Chicago versus Washington Spirit, and Racing Louisville versus the Houston Dash. Jeff, for you, what's the game to watch on Saturday? I know it's the CBS.
Right, you gotta watch the big one, right? Courage Reign, CBS. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Do you have a prediction? Let's do a score prediction real quick. What do you think?
I hate score predictions,
Come
but
on,
I am interested. Lori said I think we might maybe see some new additions. I don't know. Lori's got the scoop, but I'm curious to see whether it's this weekend or not. What this Reign team is going to look like. So be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. Hopefully, we'll see some of those new faces. Not new to women's soccer, new to NWSL though. So should be fun. Someone in the chat said, "I love Lori calling games." So we're gonna get that on Sunday. We're gonna get a game on big CBS with Lori Lindsey herself. That's gonna be Portland versus Kansas City, and then Orlando also plays Gotham on Sunday. But Lori, that Portland Kansas City game, give us a little insight. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I'm curious too. I think there's some interesting aspects to these games with players returning to international duty. So who's available, who's not? And as we said earlier in the show, like there's some young players that could really have the opportunity to step up and showcase their talent. So I expect that from Kansas City. I think Kansas City is one of the teams that has been hit less hard, I should say, than some teams, in particular Portland, during this international break. Are they going to get Levanta back from injury, Chloe Lagarzo? So I think their team could look very different if they get some of those pieces healthy again, more dynamic going forward. And I don't think we've seen the best of Kansas City at all so far this season. And then obviously Amy Rodriguez, who leads the line up top. But then Portland, this has been the topic of the season, is them winning and then going through a little bit of a lapse there right before this international break. But how they deal with a lot of these players that are going to be gone during the Olympic tournament. So, I think we could see that. And they still have a lot of good, really quality pieces in the mix. So who's going to play? What does that look like? And we're hearing 80% capacity back at Providence Park, which is massive. One of the best places to play in the world. So really exciting stuff there on that side, and that always makes it. And goodness, is a fun environment typically. So good games ahead, really.
Yeah, I'm bringing back the Arsenal Hall. So you'll get to watch. I don't know how to say that name that said it. Joel Zuski. You'll get to watch Lori call that game on Sunday. It should be a good one. 2 games on CBS. Exciting stuff for NWSL and a lot of women's sports in general on CBS this weekend. I know Lori tweeted about that today, which is amazing to see. Barry Schaefer, before we go, you asked if any of us will be in Cary this weekend. We won't, but have fun since you'll be there. That's it. We get to see the Twitch chat. I'm happy about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's NWSL Live. Jeff, Lori, thank you so much, guys. All right. We'll see you guys later. We're out. See you next week.
I just gotta run. There's run 1 more minute of commercial break because I brought them back early. I need it.